On 7th August, Prime Minister Modi made a very significant remark that the interest of farmers is his top priority and that India would never compromise on it. He made this remark less than 12 hours after the American president had slapped 25% additional tariff on India, taking it to 50% as of now. Another significant thing that Prime Minister Modi said is, I know personally I will have to pay a heavy price for it, but I'm ready for it. To decode this, you're watching Quick Take, your quick guide. I am Smita Prakash. It's apparent now that the negotiating team from India has a clear directive from the Prime Minister. India will not compromise on agricultural and farm produce in any negotiations with the US. Why? Because farmers are this country's political backbone. Over 50% of India's workforce is directly or indirectly linked to agriculture. They're also a massive voting bloc. Any policy that threatens their livelihoods triggers political backlash, as it did in 2020-21, when radical farm laws led to massive protests and the Modi government had to repeal farm laws. Opening up India's markets to American imports like wheat, poultry, dairy will be termed as anti-farmer. There are some who say Indian farmers need to learn how to compete. So easy to mouth these words. The fact is that American agricultural products benefit from massive subsidies and economies of scale. Products like dairy with growth hormones, chicken legs, and genetically modified crops are significantly cheaper than Indian dairy produce.
How are we going to withstand some of these geopolitical pressures that are coming upon us? We are already self-reliant in food, but at the same time, as we are part of the global community and there are interdependencies in many ways. And therefore, we have to find a way forward. Again, it has to come through application of science and technology, but through blending the traditional wisdom, as the Prime Minister also said. And I think it is possible to do it.
Many Indian farmers have small land holdings, barely any mechanization, high input costs, unprotected vagaries of market. Despite all that, food security is part of India's strategic sovereignty. Being self-sufficient in food is crucial to national stability, and hence agriculture is part of our strategic autonomy. Any perception of India becoming dependent on foreign farm imports is politically toxic and strategically unacceptable to Indians.
अगर ऐसे वो लोग करेंगे तो हम भी अमेरिकन एक्सपोर्ट्स पे 50% की टैरिफ हमारे तरफ से भी लगाना चाहिए. ये नहीं है कि कोई भी किसी और देश में बैठ के हमको ऐसे धमकी दे सके. ये तो बिल्कुल मानना तैयार नहीं है.
Let's see what the US wants from India. 3 things. Market access for dairy, poultry and pork, easing of phytosanitary and regulatory barriers, lower duties on almonds, apples and other agricultural exports. But India's pushing back because India bans hormone-treated dairy and poultry, common in the US. Indian regulators insist on proof of hormone-free certification, which most US exporters cannot or do not provide. US dairy cattle are sometimes fed by animal-based byproducts, including blood meal, bone meal, or fish meal. This goes against India's ethos, especially among Hindu consumers. India maintains high import tariffs to protect domestic farmers, for example 30 to 60% on many agri items. There is a strong opposition from Indian farmer unions, food safety advocates and even some religious groups, example over beef and pork. Religious sentiments make mass meat imports politically toxic. All these issues could delay a broader trade agreement between the US and India unless agriculture is set aside as a red line. The Prime Minister's speech reiterated the notion that India has held that agricultural sovereignty is politically sacrosanct, protection of economically vulnerable Indian farm sector cannot be compromised, and it is strategically important for any ruling party.